We're back on, on another exciting episode of Starfleet
They're all
Soho,
exciting.
where
It's
we have a
thrilling.
casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Prodigy Season 2, Episode 18? Yeah, 18. No, 17. There's a lot.
Get it right, mister.
17. Brink.
Hashtag SoPro.
So pro. Well, we were supposed to be on at 5. We're on 6. I was supposed to do an 11 o'clock Lower Decks stream to celebrate Lower Decks' return, but that didn't happen today. So it's all a disaster. It's all a disaster time.
Kia ora, everyone. I apologize. It's my fault for the delay. I had to delay the stream because of life. Life sometimes delays streams.
Life finds a way. Life finds a way to delay streams. But we're here, and look, we've got quite a nice little group in the audience already. We've got Benjinium, Commodore Trev, and Jill47. Nice to see you all there. Toddy.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and Trek Culture's here too. What?
Oh my goodness. The one, the only Trek Culture.
Looking forward to the 25 timelines update. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know anyone cared about that.
Screw you, sir. Will there be any changes, do we think?
I don't know.
Maybe I need to catch up on my Discovery season 5.
I don't.
Are there changes?
Like
There's no major changes. No, not really.
Like you need to just catch up on Star Trek.
Just need to catch up. Hey, look. I'm watching my Lower Decks. Come on.
All right, good. So you saw the first 2 episodes of Lower Decks?
Yes,
That's great. I've got some pointers. I got some pointers for you.
I don't think we should be spoiling our like the Lower Decks on this conversation though. I think so you're going to be doing these conversations.
Oh, just because I said pointers, like that's a spoiler. Wow.
Well, everything. Yes. Just you mentioning Lower Decks is a spoiler. No. So you're going to be doing it with someone else.
Yeah, you're not getting that.
That privilege. No,
but we have Prodigy ones all the time. No,
I love Lower Decks, and it is a very important show to me because I think we've talked about this at length. I was someone that was I already desired this show before it even existed. Like we talked about it. And so I'm very, very happy that it exists. Sadly, though, we must select sometimes what it is that we spend our time talking about. And so we'll talk about Lower Decks, I guess, on our off time. Like we'll shoot the ships.
After this, whenever we figure out when we're going to be doing second breakfast, we'll just have like a Toddy's Lower Decks moment just to get your reaction.
Oh, okay.
It'll be a cross promotion.
But we will be talking about Rings of Power, you and me.
Yes.
Because we
want to do on that. Second breakfast. Toddy, what happens in this episode in the episode called Brink? Oh, and sorry, we've been on hiatus.
Got my timelines muddled up. What's going on? Jill says, please display the non-YouTube comments. We can't see them. How outrageous. We don't have like a cross-platform. Really? Well, you can put them on screen. But they're not in like the comment feed, I guess.
They're on our comment feed.
Oh, okay. So we
how we have a
what I mean?
Yeah, do you see that comment
I see
feed
them, but Jill doesn't. Apparently.
I know, I'm sorry. Maybe Jill could be on both X and YouTube. I'm just kidding. You don't have to be everywhere. I actually still don't know how folks comment on X because I look.
I don't even know how to watch a stream on X. So that's where I'm at.
Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I see us streaming, but I don't see how you're commenting because I don't see a comment. Oh, maybe it's not a reply, but if you're in the stream, you can comment. Well, it's pretty cool. Whatever. Either way, we're all over the place already. So what happens in Brink, Toddy? Come on, give us a episode.
What happens? Oh my goodness. What happens if everything happens in Brink?
It's not untrue.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this real quick, nice and snappy, I guess. We need to find a way to stop Essentia from wreaking more havoc and being more evil and
Well, so
doing
Jellicoe
terrible
ordered
things.
them to like
Yes,
not remember not to like
it's like a big stand down kind of
they
order.
need to
You
get
know what I mean?
Gwen and the Protostar back to Tars Lamora in the past so that all the events occur. But Jellicoe said no. But at the beginning of this episode,
No.
sorry, I had to interrupt you. But at the beginning of this episode, we see Wesley get captured by Essentia, who's been screwing around with time stuff so that the technology on Solum.
Wasn't it revealed that he was captured in the previous episode? Because she
Yeah,
was.
no, but they show it at the beginning of this episode.
Oh,
Remember, they
that's right.
showed
We have like a flashback to
the
how
little
it
flashback
happens.
to a few months
Yes,
ago of how it
that's very
happens.
true
Yeah.
of how it happened.
So,
Yes.
so like Essentia, what she's been doing is this kind of like diabolical thing that a lot of time traveler, time people who have time technology do, which is she's accelerating her own technology using time travel technology to accelerate the technology that
Yeah, the
she
time
has.
travel thieves, the great
Their
thieves
time
of the
travel, yeah,
time of the
exactly,
terrible people.
exactly.
Dreadful.
And meanwhile, she's oppressing her people on Solum and seeking revenge with
Well,
the
she's just
Federation.
generally speaking a terrible individual.
Yeah, she is. But anyways, so Wesley comes to stop her, but he isn't successful. He gets captured. And then on the Protostar, they're trying to figure out a way
How
around
does a
Jellicoe.
man who can see
No,
into the
sorry, on the
future get
Voyager.
captured?
He did it on purpose, as he told you.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
It looks like you haven't seen this episode in a couple of weeks.
I'm trolling. I saw it now.
So anyway,
but I will say it was one like when he got captured. I was like, he must have done this on purpose. Like, there's no way, because like I understand that sometimes there's a lot of timelines to keep track of, but I was like, no, he knows what's going on. Like, he must have been captured on purpose, right? Unless like she's acquired powers from elsewhere. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Carry on
So
doing my
anyways,
summary. Go ahead.
I know I totally took over
You
because I felt
hijacked.
like you.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's how do you do the summary so I can do
No,
the summary.
I was gonna do it too vague for you. That's what was going on.
Well, real quick. So anyways, Gwen, mine will be quick, I promise. Gwen basically decides that she's the only way, like they're trying to figure out a way out of Jellicoe's orders, but they can't. But then Gwen says, but I can, because I'm not a member of Starfleet technically, or the Federation, and these are my people. So she volunteers to go back, save, gather intel on Essentia's weapons, and save Iltheron, basically grant him asylum. So Janeway agrees to this, despite Dr. Noam saying, "Who invited the kid to the adults table?" that was a funny line. Anyways, she agrees, so they assemble a little task force, and Majel joins them too, because she also gives up her commission because she feels that it's important what Wesley said, that they all stay together. So yeah, they get to the planet, they follow some clues, they get to Iltheron's
Together.
yeah, together.
You know what I mean?
So, so they get there, they follow the clues, they discover young Essentia, which so it gets really messed up.
Well, they
Young
don't
Essentia
discover young Essentia. Well, no, they discover that young Essentia is helping.
is helping, right?
Yeah.
She's part of the resistance, which is crazy because
La
it's the same
Résistance.
yeah, but it's crazy because the same person. I have questions timey-wimey wise. If she decides to help the resistance, doesn't that change the Essentia of the future? Or wouldn't older Essentia be changed by that
I think this
instantaneously
is one of the situations where they've kind of like corrupted the timeline in such a way that the Essentia of the future, as you see it, is no longer affected by the Essentia of the past, because the Essentia of the future is the Essentia of the past. She's the past of the present now.
To quote Dahl, I hate time travel. But anyways,
Well, I'm sure Trek culture understood what I said.
I'm sure Trek culture did.
The audience knows, even if you don't.
Especially if it's Ellie who's hanging out, because she's very timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. Anyways, we get to Iltheron. So we find out that they're loading Iltheron and some other folks onto a train to take them prisoners. So they go and they get them. Meanwhile, Gwen and they decide to split up. when they're not supposed to. I forgot about that
She
part. Yeah.
made
So then
the wrong
she made the
choice.
she made the executive decision. Uh, maybe who culture. There you go. It's true. So, anyways, they split up, even though they shouldn't. Gwen and crew and her little group are going to save Wesley, and the other group go and save Iltheron and the other leaders of the society. Anyways, they're all successful.
It's a plan that makes sense because basically the transporter technology that they've got is with one team, and the
Oh yeah, that's
transporter
right. I forgot about that.
technology that is literally Wesley Crusher is with the other team.
Right.
And he can like manifest himself into other places because he's, that's what he does. He's a traveler, yo.
He's a
So
traveler.
yeah, no, I think that the plan is sound. It makes sense.
So they do. They successfully rescue Iltron, but Gwen's team rescues Wesley, and then Wesley has like a time tantrum basically because he's like, "You're not supposed to split up. I don't know what to do. I'm so lost." But then, just as that happens,
Time
uh,
tantrum.
isn't that what it is? Like a temporal tantrum.
A
Anyways,
temporal tantrum.
so, so then, just as things look kind of hopeless, we see Dal and crew appear, but right behind them is Essentia, and she's all chuffed and pleased with herself because she's like, "Thank you for showing me everything, so now I can be even more powerful." And she's about to
Yeah,
kill. She's about to
close
kill.
enough.
Sorry, I forgot to twirl my mustache.
Mm.
She's about to kill. Although she's not a mustache twirly villain, she's a little more complicated
She's
than
a
that.
time twirling villain.
Ooh, nice. Dum-dum-dum. Anyway, she's about to kill Iltheron, and then Dal pulls one more trick out of his dingle dangle with his dingle dangle,
Excuse me.
and he throws the transporter beacon, and fully is able to save Iltheron and Wesley, who beam aboard the ship, and what happens next is
So Aaron Waltke is here, and he's here to school you.
oh, jeez.
It says future Essentia came from an alternate future. Starfleet Sahel. So her presence in the prime timeline doesn't alter her existence. Same reason Future Janeway didn't disappear the
That's
moment she
right.
changed things in Endgame. So yes, they're
Good
using the
point.
same logic as Voyager did. And yeah, no, it makes sense.
That makes way more sense than what Toddy was saying, but that also
Maybe I added a little more sass to the comment there, but
So, anyways, they beam board the bridge. They're safe, and Wesley says we're all in danger, and I don't know what happens next. That's it. There's the episode summary. I did.
That's not bad.
Thanks for clearing that up, Aaron. Nice to see you in the audience. Also, Benji says, "Time Twirlers is a great name for a new series." Oh,
Time
there you go.
Twirlers. That would
Time
be
Twirlers.
really cool, actually. Time Twirlers, yeah.
Instead of like
That sounds like something that like Jermaine Clement or Taika Waititi would make.
Time Twirlers. I like it. I like it. All right. So, what do you think of this episode?
I really like this episode. I mean, I say that for every episode, but I really like this episode.
It's easy to like Prodigy.
Yeah, it's easy to like. Prodigy is something that I really like, and I really like how they find, I'm gonna call them logical ways to have like the crew together, like our little team always together, and they're the ones that do the mission. So here we have like on one hand, Wesley Crusher like quite literally telling them a few episodes ago, like, you guys need to stay together, you guys need to be the team. So even Michelle has to be with them. But also it's like we need to do this in a way that doesn't kind of like go against the Admiral's orders, you know what I mean? Jellicoe's orders and Starfleet's kind of like rulings. So we're gonna send these people that aren't officially Starfleet, you know what I mean? So I think it makes sense, and I like that a lot. And it gives you like the occasion. I don't know. It gives you the ability to deliver Star Trek, Starfleet stories, but with still having like these younger people that aren't necessarily completely in the Starfleet mold yet, so they can still kind of like do things their way. I really like it. And Dahl, I like it.
Yeah, I was really impressed. I
Yeah.
liked it too. I was impressed that Dahl when Gwen was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna split up and do these two separate missions."
Mm.
How like at first he was like kind of like, "Oh no, we're not supposed to," but then he immediately like gets in line and he's like, "You're the commander. We'll follow your lead." So I
Well,
like
see,
that a
that's what
lot.
I find very interesting, and I don't want to take anything away from Gwyn and like her leadership and the decisions that she made, because I feel like clearly, commanding suits Gwyn quite well. But I
Yeah,
liked
she's really good at it.
I liked the idea here that Dahl is still in charge, because that's kind of how it felt like. At the end of the day, he kind of called the shot by saying, "We're gonna do Gwyn's plan."
I don't
But
know.
I liked that he was kind of like, when the captain steps back and says, "You know what?
That's
You're
kind
the
of like
expert. You're gonna do
you're
this."
like, I don't want to take anything away from Gwen, but I'm going to. No, I don't think so. I don't think Dahl. I think Gwen was. He would have made a totally different decision, and it would have been very disastrous. I think. I think it would have been. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it's a
I'm.
mutual agreement type thing. Maybe they both agree.
I just think it. I was impressed that Dahl at this stage didn't give like any trouble about that. He was like very kind of on board with he reminded and it reminded me of like when they were I think he's realizing that especially after Chakotay spoke to him on the desert planet um that like not everything needs to be about command. Like he doesn't like there's different ways of leading and sometimes
Mm,
doing
mm.
is the way. So I think he's figuring it out and he's like, "Oh, this is Gwen's mission. Let me just step back to being in a role where I follow orders
Oh,
rather than try to
perhaps I
get
misread it. Yeah, I don't know, but that's how
I
I
don't
kind
know.
of felt. I kind of felt like it was like I was trying to compliment them both, basically.
Maybe
No, but
maybe I
because
came around to
I
to
kind
what
of
you were
no, but
saying.
I kind of felt like it was like part of his learning curve and part of his like leadership skills that he's acquiring to let someone else kind of like make the decision to call the shots, because clearly like I would have made the same decision Gwyn did. You know what I mean? Like at the end, the whole thing is you can really see that she's torn. She says, "I made the wrong choice," but it's like I don't feel like in the moment with the facts that you had, I feel like it was the right choice.
Hey, Movie Magic says you're discussing the best new Star Trek show. Yes, we are.
So I agree. So I've said for a while now that it's always been kind of tied between Lower Decks and Prodigy, and I didn't know where we're going, but I do feel like Prodigy is a better show than Lower Decks, or rather, Prodigy is a show that I prefer. Now
It's just too hard for me to
it's
pit them
dethroned.
against one another,
Oh,
but
it's
I
not,
will
and I don't like pitting, Star Trek shows
I know.
against each other,
But I
but
will
no,
say that
I have a preference for
Prodigy is
Prodigy.
very rewatchable and it's definitely up there in the number. I think it is the number one show of Star Trek that I like watching in the modern. No, I like them all. I don't know. It's too hard. They're all
Well, you
like
have a
next to my
very
screen.
Picard kind of like close relationship to Picard, don't
Yeah.
you?
I do have a close relationship to Picard.
But see,
Plus,
like what Picard
Lower Decks
was
is
to your
sending me
TNG.
signed posters. I gotta, I can't be
Oh,
like
come
picking
on,
face.
you're so they've bought
I
you.
didn't, I didn't
That's
get it signed.
outrageous.
Actually, I do have a signed poster from Aaron Walkie. Did sign one of my posters at Star Trek Chicago. So actually, technically, Prodigy signed a poster for me first. So maybe I don't know. Anyways, it's
No,
not about fitting.
Prodigy's amazing, but no, but Prodigy is to my Voyager what Picard was to your TNG, right? So
That's
like,
true. It's a good point. I know you love that Voyager. Oh my gosh, so good. Okay. Dal would have somehow accidentally opened a portal to the Borg one. Quantum reality.
oh
See?
no, I don't want to go
There
there.
you go.
Jesus, what a dreadful place.
Oh, they're having a discussion about Robbie's talking about Strange New Worlds too.
Carry on, people. Talk Star Trek. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. So that was a nice I think the other thing about the episode that I really liked was Wesley having his time tantrum because you can't just like I just kind of like that he had all these plans, but he didn't let anyone in on it. Like he just said stay together. It's a very, very like short set of
So
instructions, like better, easier said than done type of thing. So
I
when he was upset, I kind of wanted to be like, Wesley, chill out, it's still going to work out, because these kids, they really want to make it happen. Like, it's not maybe it's not about like what you saw in that one, how Doctor Strange kind of like looks at like something like 10
what did he
million
do? Like
either, like when he does that thing, when he like, that's kind of, I imagine Wesley like being like seeing like this one outcome that is favorable, but he didn't look at what other outcomes might be favorable. He just saw the one, he was like, oh,
stopped at
that's
the
the one.
first one. He's like, this is it.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is it. Like, that's how I imagine it. Like, he was like, "Oh yeah, this is it." But then there are possibly other outcomes. Well, we don't know if it'll be favorable. Tommy, actually, like that, we're assuming a little too much maybe here, because you haven't seen the last 3 episodes. But we're hoping, I should say, that there's going to be other favorable outcomes. But Wesley didn't see that, which I kind of liked, how he kind of also got a lesson in a sense.
I have. I'm gonna bounce off what you said, but I also want to reply to Jill. She says all the kids seem to have a unique talents that complement each other. She's still wondering what Dal's gift is. I can kind of relate to Dal because I don't have a particular talent or a particular gift, and I never had one when I had my group of friends. I was just kind of there, so I can relate to just being there. But it's nice
We're
being
still
there.
trying to figure out what your talent is in
I
our
know,
group
right?
of
It's dreadful. But some people, we don't have any particular specific gift, but it's nice to be
I
there.
think
Um,
For me, Dow's gift is probably his
his
ready,
perseverance, I would say, because
or
he
he's
doesn't
also
quit. You
just
know what I
ready
mean?
to dive in. Yeah, he's perseverance, but I think he's ready. He's the most ready to just like dive in to a situation. Like, he kind of has that, you
He
know,
has a loyalty to his friends that is undeniable too. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
But maybe he just has so many talents, he just doesn't have one particular one. So yeah, that's
Mm.
probably it. And that's probably what you were
Um,
like. You have a lot of talents. Your shirt looks
um,
like it's like a giant sweat stain. Oh, now I see
it's the Punisher.
it. It looked like a giant
A
sweat
giant
stain.
sweat. I sweated just here specifically. No, people. No, it's Um, no, I used to, when I was younger, kind of get mad at how cryptic and kind of like I guess not explicit enough like the instructions were from people that were like, either wizards or sorcerers or time, people or whatever. But I kind of realize now that to experience everything that Wesley's kind of experiencing, to see, to kind of predict, there's so much that must be going on in his mind all the time that sometimes maybe just like giving clear instructions, uh, it doesn't seem as evident as like him as it would be for us. You know what I mean? Because we would have probably said like, stay together, but you need to stay physically together as a group. It's not just like a stay together like spiritually kind of thing. But for him, like he's got so much going on that it would be difficult for him to express that. And then also, I feel like even though he is a traveler and he's been traveling for a while, I do feel like he's probably a recent traveler in terms of like how long this organization has been in existence and how many travelers are around there. So maybe he's still trying to figure out specific things in terms of like how to handle timelines and how to deal with like um, details that go wrong. So I feel like it's kind of like his temporal temper tantrum makes kind of sense to me. Like his frustration is coming out because he doesn't. He thought he knew what was going on, but he doesn't. You know what I mean? I wonder if he's gonna go get help from some other traveler.
Aaron says, I like to think Wesley had this conversation so many times with other parallel versions of the Prodigy crew. He lost track of what he said to who when. Oh, that's
That's
a good
very
point too.
true. So at the moment, for anyone that's following kind of like House of the Dragon, there's a certain character that's having visions, but she's having visions both of the past and of the future. But she's having so many visions of the past and the future that kind of like her existence in the present is kind of mixed with all that. So she can't really make out what is going on, when, and why. So she doesn't know what kind of like timeline she's in, and who's where, who's what, and so maybe to a certain degree, kind of the existence of a traveler or someone adjacent to that would kind of be in a similar situation. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you're
it
kind
makes
of
sense that,
always talking to different people, but
and on top of that, time is constantly changing. So even adding another layer to that kind of existence is interesting too, because on top of what you saw, your actions are still changing it, and so then and then also like in
yeah, and
this
it's
episode, that
changing every second that
changing
goes by
every
too. You
second
know what
goes
I mean?
by, right?
Hashtag travel problems, indeed. Trev.
I think that's interesting. I would like to see like more of the travelers, but apparently they're
Oh, traveler
abandoning,
POV.
like, just in general, like more traveler stories in Star Trek uh would be cool. It's great that we got it first in Prodigy. Wesley is, I think we've said this before on the show, but like that was one of my biggest kind of sad like disappointments, was like we only get him in season 2 of Picard for like a quick second, like basically inviting Soji
It's like a
into the
post-credit scene,
travelers group.
basically.
Yeah, into the travelers group. But here we finally get the Wesley stuff that I think a lot of us who have been fans of the character have been wanting for so long, and I think it pays off really well. He's an awesome character. I just
And
love that he wears his
again, he's
orange
kind of the
sweater too.
original Prodigy kid, from Star
Yeah,
Trek.
yeah.
So it
So
makes
it's super
sense that
appropriate.
it
He's
makes sense for
guiding
him to
them
be in this
along.
show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. What'd you think of like basically Essentia and her what she's doing to Solom?
Well, I don't like it. It's very mean. What
It
No, it's good. It's good villain stuff. You know what I mean?
fits
Like
nicely
it
too,
you know,
like with
it suits the character, and I like how so I like how she was always kind of there. Like even in season 1, you know what I mean?
yeah,
We
yeah.
thought we knew who the villain was, but she was there. And she was planning and plotting, you know what I mean? So yeah, I
It
like it.
also, it's neat to see what's happening. I mean, it's not happening the same way as it maybe did the first time, whenever the first time would have been, but it is neat to see it all tie into like those visions we would see of
Yeah,
Solom destroyed, and like how it's gonna happen, and how
you're getting
Essentia is
a
like
behind the scenes or a making of like the dreadful stuff that happened before season 1. Yeah,
No, it's true.
a version of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. What do you hope happens to Essentia? Like, how are you hoping it all goes down? Is she redeemable, or is she a character that
I mean, they've
you're
redeemed Emperor Jojo in Star Trek, so I think everyone's become redeemable now at this point.
you're
Um,
still on that ever
oh,
Jojo?
come on. I mean,
Jojo.
maybe that's part of the hopefulness of Star Trek, maybe, but no.
It
I don't know.
is.
I
It's
don't know if
always
she's.
good.
I
It's
don't know if
about
that particular
rehabilitation, not
version. I don't know if
it's
that particular version is. Yeah, send her to New Zealand, yo.
it's
I don't
about
know. I don't
rehabilitation,
know.
not
I think maybe we
incarceration.
can have her timeline disappear. So we don't really kill her. We just erase her from existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that
then
could happen.
we can keep the nice Essentia. The one that was part of the resistance. I like
Well,
her.
from what Aaron said, the nice Essentia will grow up to be a good Essentia.
Mm,
If it's because that's the alternate timeline
mm.
Essentia. So we're safe. Or what you said, your theory. It was your theory. It was Aaron's. I can't remember. I'm not able to keep track. It's only been 30 minutes. That's how it goes on Starfleet Sohail. Well, I already know what happens to her, but I was just curious what your hopes are for the or your lack of hopes are for the character.
My lack of hopes.
Do
I don't
you
necessarily
think
have any lack of hopes. No, I hope that she loses. You know what I mean?
she might not?
That'd be dreadful. Don't do that to
Well,
me. Can you imagine the goddamn cliffhanger at the end of the season 2? I still need the show to come back. Come on.
which, by the way, we still don't know if it's coming back. It's driving me crazy. I want to know if there's going to be a season 3
Yeah,
of
there's no
Prodigy.
official word of cancellation, basically. It's just kind of like in a limbo of his existence. This is
That's
the
actually better news than not. Like we hear,
well, it's the
usually when you
Schrodinger's
hear
Trek, isn't it? I guess.
that's
Until you've opened the Netflix box, you just don't know what's going on.
I know I'm streaming it constantly, so if anyone's watching this, please stream Star Trek Prodigy. a lot so that it gets a renewal. But hopefully on Netflix, very soon we will get an announcement of season 3, but not before Toddy finishes it.
I wish I just had money, you know what I mean? So I could just throw it at the production team and it's like carry on the show, make it happen. You know what I mean?
I wish life were that easy, but
Yeah.
it's not that easy. Let's
Sadness.
see. We already went over pretty much everything that happens in this episode. Oh yeah, Majel it continues to be a cool character. I have a note on her. I like that she gave up her place on in Starfleet to do this mission with them. And she's like learning all about like basically, she's learning about loyalty and like doing the right thing and being with your friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, I appreciate how like willing she is to get into this time travel thing. Like, because in Enterprise, Vulcans were all like, well, the Vulcan Institute has, kind of like concluded that time travel is impossible and doesn't exist. Now like this Vulcan, she's all in. You know what I mean?
What is that from? Where's that reference? Is that from the Kelvin movies?
No,
No.
that's from Enterprise. Enterprise. They like
Oh, yeah,
even
yeah,
like
yeah.
T'Pol
That's
would
the whole
always say
thing.
like
That's
time travel
right.
don't exist.
Paul's like, yeah, that's an interesting take. Obviously Spock. That's obviously that'll be something that Spock has a lot to do with proving that.
Well, he's been slingshotting, around suns for decades now, so clearly, yeah. No, I like Michelle too. I like that. So the thing is, you kind of feel like you can't tell me that she kind of felt like she was giving up her Starfleet career, I guess, completely because you kind of know that they're gonna let you back in after. You know what I mean? It's just there is a risk. I guess there is a risk of dying or being captured and not be able to come back. But you kind of know that if you're able to, I guess, make it back, they're gonna give you back your commission and they're gonna, get you back into Starfleet. There's no real, problem with that.
All female Vulcans added to core group and Trek animated series are extremely awesome. That's nice. Um,
That's very
uh,
true, actually, because we get like the Vulcan that is added later on in Lower Decks and in Prodigy, and they're both
oh,
great.
Lynn's great. Yeah, she's great this season too. Remarkable, fascinating. um, I
It's
like the
not
device.
okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure they exchanged. Like, it's not. We don't have the right to Lynn.
I have to watch it again.
I'm sure of it.
I
They
don't
they
think that's
did that
true,
as an
but
experiment.
I think that the joke is also that it doesn't matter. Like with the Lynn, like
Yeah, that's
it's
such
okay.
a Mike McMahon thing. That makes sense. He's
Like,
like, who cares? Whatever.
it's
Fair
the
enough.
same Lynn. She's
Fair
she's
enough.
the Nexus being across all
I'm
universes.
headcanoning that they switched though.
I like the thing that Rock creates the invisibility bubble uh as that
I love
that
the other. Well,
device.
were they blind? They had to get that close to figure out that something was wrong.
No, because
Like those two
it
gods. What are you
it
doing?
was working fine until they got close to the temporal
Yeah, but
shenanigans
they saw
because
them. Like you see, like three people or 3, 4 people
the
appear.
guards
Like,
in
come on.
general on Solum are behind the times. Like they're not as ruthless. I think they're meant to be like a security force, but then Essentia has them like trying to be more, more lethal or whatever, and they're not really that way. The like
Mm,
Solum, I feel like before
that
Essentia's
makes sense, actually.
thing, the Solum guards were just kind of like, there's not really much to do because like
No, that
Solum
makes
people were
sense.
just kind of
That's
like,
like if like the Klingons or like the Tellarites or Andorians, um, or the Nausicaans or whatever, they dropped by today, and then they recruited some of our guys, our people to be like soldiers for them. Like the human of today wouldn't be like ready for that kind of stuff. Is that what you're saying?
no. Well,
Okay.
yes and no. Like I get what you're saying. Like yes, from the aspect of like, yeah, they're also not like, into the technology or whatever, but
Hmm.
like they wouldn't know how to handle like some of these advanced weapons per se. Although the people of Solom are very intelligent or whatever. But what I just mean is that like up until now they were like a security force, meaning like they had very little to do on Solom. Like now they're being forced to be like
Oh, okay.
ruthless. Like
Okay. Yeah.
Solom people were it seemed like they were just chill,
And now they're led
chill
by like an extremist, is what you mean.
an extreme exactly, and
Oh,
now
yes.
they're being forced to be more extreme. So that's why they're like kind of
So yeah, morally,
slow.
they're not in line, kind of like with what's going on.
Right, right. Like
Okay.
they would have just shot at that, like if they had been trained from the beginning to be, like a sensia. But now they're
Grenade.
like, yeah, they're like, you see something weird, just shoot it. But all that aside, maybe their curiosity or whatever. But yeah, I loved that whole thing. It reminded me a lot of the invisibility cloak in Harry Potter. I forgot to say that, so that was a cool, intentional or unintentional nod to the Harry Potter series.
I really like how it's really cool. Like it's like basically a dome. It's like an invisibility dome, and I think it's really cool and it's really advanced technologically. Like clearly, it's science fiction stuff, but I like how kind of it's also clearly a first iteration and it's not very practical. You know what I mean? And it needs to be worked on because it's really just a big ass dome that's kind of like impractical to walk around in. So I like that. I like the fact that it's really cool and it's really futuristic, but it's also kind of, you can tell that there's progress to do in like concerning that technology.
Yeah. We don't see anything like that before since like a personal cloaking device in Star Trek. I mean, I know that the Federation
Data,
do we see? Oh yeah, we do see it. You're right.
with
In
the edit.
Insurrection. You're right. We do see it. Oh, my bad. So wonder if because that would take place after that would takes place before.
Yeah.
So never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I thought like maybe Rock's technology got refined. Well, she did a good job under pressure creating like an invisibility cloak, and I liked it a lot. It was cool.
Is Aaron still with us?
I don't know. There's no way to know if
The
someone
show
still is.
began, where is it? Here, right? The show began in 2383. At the end of season 2, where's the show at? Like, are we just kind of like a year later or 2 years later, 2385? Is that the assumption
I
here?
think it's like a year later or something.
Okay. Okay. Is there maybe like a huge time thingy going on, like in like the final episode that I'm just not aware of at the moment? Or is there like
Why? What did I say that might have gotten you thinking about
no,
that?
no, no. I'm just curious because maybe
I go by Beetlejuice rules. You have to say my name 3 times. Aaron Walkie, Aaron Walkie, Aaron Walkie. So wait, what's your
okay.
question
Well,
now
then
that
he's
we have
gonna
Aaron
trap
here?
me in to get like married with him or something. If
You're
it's the Beetlejuice rules.
remember you can't tell Toddy what happens in the last 3
Yeah, I
episodes.
don't
You
want
have to tell
spoilers
it.
because I haven't
Yeah.
yet seen them. That's the whole, the whole. It's kind of become
Yeah,
like
so you're asking
the
questions.
gimmick of the show.
Why don't you wait till the show's
I
over and then
just
you'll
want to
have your
know
answers?
what's going on with my timeline. I got to draw my timeline up. You know what I
You'll be
mean?
able to. You'll be able to.
Ah,
3 more episodes.
there's lower decks.
You wasted an Aaron Walkie appearance. Thanks a lot.
I get 3 wishes. He's like the genie.
Here we
Oh,
go.
season
Season
2
2
starts
starts
in
2384.
2384. Okay. So I guess it will end in like 2385, I guess. But that would mean does Lower Decks also end in 2385? Like the 2 shows end together? Oh, could you imagine like we have like a big movie with like all of them together? That would be really cool.
That
Anyway,
would be
sorry.
really cool, but I don't know if your math is correct on the timeline of Lower Decks ending. Is it the same year in Lower Decks as it is in Prodigy right now?
Well, it began in 2380. And
Right.
technically I go a season a year, basically.
That's not necessarily true.
No, it isn't necessarily true, but that's what
I
I do.
thought that about Heartstopper, and if I was correct, it would have been 3 years, but it's only been like a year on the show.
What show? Heartstopper.
Heartstopper. Have you heard of Heartstopper?
No, never. What is that?
It's the cutest show ever. I was reluctant to watch it because I thought it would be like a teeny boppery type of show. But it's actually really cute. It's really
It's
nice.
It's romantic, right?
It's romantic, yeah. There's a lot of kissing if you're not into kissing. Aaron says Lower Decks doesn't adhere to the 1 year per season rule as determined by Mike McMahon.
Okay,
So
so
there
so
you
I
go.
don't so I don't know. I don't know anything now. How am I supposed to make this timeline?
Hey Toddy, now you have it to incorporate all the alternate timelines and Prodigy into your chart. Good luck.
Yeah, so I just want to say that like I have this multiverse timeline that I've been working on for I don't know how long, and it's very complicated. But every single season of Star Trek that comes out makes it even more complicated because Picard's like has a bunch of headaches, and Prodigy has a bunch of like new spaghetti to add to the timeline. I think we'll leave it at the simple timeline for now, just for
Could you just
people
put
that don't
like a
know the show yet.
spaghetti? Could you just put like somewhere in the timeline like a bunch of spaghetti strings to indicate what happened in Prodigy, like
Well,
on the
Prodigy
time
is a bunch
on
of
your timeline?
incursions, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm.
Temporal incursions, temporal whatever, temporal tantrums. you gotta put all the temporal tantrums in there. Anyways, where were we? You totally threw me off.
Oh,
Let
Kit
me think.
Connor, I know him.
What do you know Kit Connors from?
He was in. What do I know him from? I feel like I've seen his face before.
Hey Toddy. Aaron
Maybe
says
not.
I
Maybe I don't
apologize to
know.
Toddy well in advance of when it came out regarding how much season 2 of Prodigy complicates his timeline chart. You did. That's awesome.
It's very true.
So there. That's it. Let's see what else do we have in this episode. I think we covered just about everything. Let me
Yeah,
think.
Strange New Worlds is having fun with the timelines too. And I'm sure maybe the Section 31 movie will really help things along. You know what I mean?
I think it actually will.
No, you think everything's gonna make sense?
Well, no, I think that already, like what happened in Strange New Worlds was like a correction of all the weird kind of misinformation that we already had about Khan's timeline. Like Khan talks about how like, there's a lot of incongruities already before. So
Mm.
what Strange New Worlds does is it kind of like backs it up by saying, yeah, the Romulans were messing with time in this time period. So there's different things going on. And I think Section 31 is going to do something similar with the Lost Era.
Okay. Ooh, Larry Nemechek's gonna like that.
Yeah, a lot of us are going to like that. Oh, and did you hear about the new show that's going to be all Tellarites? Just kidding.
Oh my
I
god!
got you so
I was like,
excited.
this is it. This is my new favorite show. That's
Yeah,
it. I was like, even if there's one episode and it's canceled, I love it. No, I wanted to. I mean, we always do this, but like, special shout out to really like the animation on Prodigy. It's absolutely fantastic, and I think that just visually, it's stunning, and like everything happening on Solum, it looks so good. I really like the observation tower, how kind of like I don't know, it looks constructed from like spare parts and stuff. No, it's really really cool. And also, just special shout out to Wesley Crusher because
Yeah, it's
it's
pretty
it's
cool.
I really like having Wesley Crusher around, and I feel like yeah, he got a lot of hate I think in the early days of TNG. Um, but I don't know. I'm happy to see the character back, and I'm happy to see him like have like this role. Yeah,
Same
it's a good
here.
episode. It's a good
Yep.
episode. It's a good show. I
All
enjoy
right,
it.
it's time for our ratings. What
Oh, I'm
episode did
sorry.
we forget to give? Oh, what happened?
Shout out to Rock that knocked out the god by like going boink.
That was great. I also shout out to Zero for animating the one guard that was
Oh
knocked out.
yeah, they need to brush up on their puppeteering.
There's a lot of good stuff in this episode we didn't even talk about, but that's okay. We only have like a little bit of time tonight because Toddy was already late. I'm gonna blame you, Toddy.
No, you're gonna blame me now.
I'm
Okay, here
just
we
gonna
go.
blame it's
God
Toddy
damn it!
all along.
It was
But
it was Toddy all
audience,
along.
if there was something we didn't talk about, let us know. We'll touch on it real quickly. But my rating for this episode is another
We need to
9.9
actually 9 point go, and then I'll say it.
9.95.
9.95. Oh, that's really low
Yeah.
for you. Out of 10?
That's
Insane.
I might raise it if you don't give a sufficient rating.
If Picard was in it, it would have been like a 13. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
Dreadful. No, shout out to so it's kind of Gwyn and Dahl that make
Oh,
the
that's a good
call
question. Hold on, sorry.
at the very end, right?
Sorry. Aaron Walkie. Jill, that's a good question. What does Gwen say in Vonnegut, the Vonnegut language?
Oh, what's the joke?
Yeah,
That's
what
right,
does
because
she say?
they really crack up. We had to translate all the Vanukat speech for the actors.
So yeah,
What did
we'll
they
have to find
say?
out.
What did he say?
All right, so finish your your thoughts on
No,
your
at the
rating.
very end, kind of like the decision is made to beam Wesley Crusher and I forget his name. Yeah, anyway, Gwyn's dad.
Iltheron.
Eltheron. So
Such a cool name.
the decision is like called basically. The decision is made to beam them both up in such a like kind of selfless act. And it's great, and I loved it. I was like, enthralled by the action. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it
Good
was a
job.
cool move. Good job, kids.
Yeah, the kids are awesome.
Foil Essentia at every turn. It's very satisfying when she doesn't get her way.
Yeah, because like even if she, let's say, even if she didn't need Wesley anymore, and even if she didn't necessarily need to kill Iltheron, you know what I mean? Just she doesn't get her way, you know what I mean? Like just
so
taking it,
satisfying.
snatching it away from her is so good.
So what's the rating for this episode? I missed it.
I would give it a 7.5.
All right, cool.
I think it's very solid. This is
Solid.
like it's the one of the most solid seasons of Star Trek. I'll say that. Like, you know what? Very often, especially with like the Star Trek of the past, let's say, you would have some kind of like iffy episodes now and then. You know, it is the nature of television. You're pumping out 26, 24 episodes a season. You know, not all of them are going to be, bangers. You know what I mean? Hit and miss now and then. Like with Prodigy, that's not the case. I haven't really had like there's no episodes that I could call out as a miss. It's all hits. It's just hits.
We got the translation.
If they made a best of album, a greatest hits album, it would be all of them. Just re-release the album.
I wonder if we're the first podcast to ask this question. We got the translation. Hey, I'm right here. I was asleep on the job. I could hardly call myself. If I were asleep on the job, I could hardly call myself Vonnegut. I like that.
So there's some lore for everyone. They all like to sleep on the job. It's such a recurring thing. It's a joke.
No. If I was sleeping on the job, I couldn't call myself. I could hardly call myself Vonnegut. So it was like the joke was like they were like, "Were you sleeping on the job?" Like, and then that was the response that Gwen gave. And they were laughing like, "Oh yeah, like you can't possibly." And Aaron says it was more situational comedy than like a knock knock joke. Although that we need a whole book. We need a whole book of
knock knock Vonnegut jokes.
Vonnegut knock knock jokes.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh! Like if that would be great. I would totally buy that book. All right, Toddy. Next week is Touch of Grey. Providing that all things are equal, we'll be back on Knock Knock. Who's there?
Essentia.
Essentia who?
Essentia from the future.
Essentia from the future. Oh my god. I don't know why that's so funny.
Oh my god.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so funny. It's good. But that's our first knock knock joke.
That's it. That's already be published. Give us the rights, people. Come on.
You should. If you write like 20 more, you could.
Hey, look.
You could
Hey, look. Mike McMahon tweeted many plots on Twitter, and then he got a show. So you know what I mean? We're on our way.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. What have you got going on that you need to tell folks about, Toddy?
I've got you going on, basically. These discussions is what's going on. That's it.
We got another one. Knock knock. Who's there? I'm already inside because there's no bear we can. All right, that's where we're ending. Live long and prosper.